Welcome back to the I Just Love Footy YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about a little skeleton in the closet of the Collingwood Football Club and something that they seriously need to address if they want to consider going back to back this year. Now, to set the landscape for this video, we need to know a little bit more about Collingwood and their last couple seasons. Since Fly McRae has come on board at the Collingwood Football Club, he's developed a strong culture that the rest of the league is catching up on and trying to emulate within their own four walls. He's inherited the relentless pressure that Damien Hardwick had at Richmond and a very process-driven mindset across the board. Collingwood by no means are statistically pretty when you look at their stats. However, their strength has been their ability to go hard in a quarter and a half, score well, and then not shut up shop, but defend really well thanks to their team defense. However, while that has worked for the most part across the last two seasons, it is unsustainable. And the big issue that needs addressing within this problem of experiencing a barrage of pressure from opposition teams is Collingwood's inability to accumulate contested possessions. In 2023, Collingwood ranked 13th in the league for contested possessions, and historically, if you want to be not just a good team, the best team in the league and want to create a potential dynasty, you need to be at least top 8 in the league. I would say top 6 across the league for contested possessions if you want to be amongst the best for an extended period. Talking to the two finals games that led up to the grand final for Collingwood last season in Melbourne and GWS, Collingwood are minus 28 in contested possessions for both games, and you could probably argue if both those games against both those oppositions were played 10 times, I dare say as a Collingwood fan, we'd probably lose at least 7 of those 10 games if we replayed them, especially the Melbourne game where they had 30 more inside 50s to go with the domination in contested ball that they had in that game. Conversely, going into the grand final, we actually broke even against Brisbane, and that's why we looked like the better team. We had more scoring shot opportunities. We just looked like we had a general chokehold on the game against Brisbane, and that was through only breaking even. Imagine if we could be just a little bit better than breaking even against teams. I'm even willing to recall the 2022 final series where we played against eventual grand finalists in Geelong and Sydney. We were minus 31 in contested possessions for those games total, and it was quite prevalent in the Sydney game as far as the eye test was concerned. It was just a complete utter domination for 2.5 quarters, and then by the time Collingwood tried to switch on or turn it on, it was too late. And those are the games that you can't afford to have deficiencies in contested possessions, because once it's gone and the score is too far beyond your reach, the game's done. And that's why I'm here to suggest today that the contested possession ball work for Collingwood needs to improve. We need to see Collingwood go from 13th and 14th in 2022 and 2023 to top 8 next year, to complement our other features in our game. The greatest landmarks for Collingwood over the last two seasons has been the pressure factor and the intangibles. And then you've also got Collingwood, who were second in expected scores through general play, which suggests that the scoring shots that Collingwood had through general play were at a lower degree of difficulty because of our ability over the last couple of seasons to move the ball from defence into midfield and lastly into the forward line. And that has been something that we have been heavily dependent on throughout the last couple seasons. Imagine what Collingwood could look like if we added contested possessions as a feature in our game, along with our ability to move the ball and apply pressure and shut up shop if need be. Clearly, an increase in output for contested possessions would create a ripple effect in our centre clearance work, rating 15th in 2023. If we can win more centre clearances through the work of contested possessions, we will see more repeat inside 50s and get our small forwards involved even more than what they have been in the past. Adding the likes of Lockie Schultz, who preys on tackles inside 50, he will be a great beneficiary of it. Jamie Elliott will be more involved. Beau McCreary, Bobby Hill, these players will thrive off the fact that we're able to get the ball inside 50 from a centre clearance. And those repeat inside 50s will obviously increase our inside 50 count, and that is another hallmark for great teams that created dynasties in their own respective eras, having a high inside 50 count along with contested possessions. Now the question is, where is the solution from a player caliber talking point? Well, Jordan De Goey averaged 10 contested possessions last season. there's no reason why we can't see him bump that up to 12, 13. We're going to need him to have an impact throughout the entirety of every game. He does have a bit of a habit of disappearing from games and not wanting to have the desire to impact every game as if it's the last game he's going to play. Nick Dacos as well, who plays off the half-back line and rotates through the middle. I think if we can see him in the midfield a lot more, we're going to see his 9 contested possessions bump up to 11 and 12. Complement that with the likes of Finlay McRae, who is a great inside player. If he can find his speed at AFL, maybe Josh Dacos. He did really well when he did go into the centre bounce attendances. I think out of every 5 CBAs, he was able to get 1 centre clearance. And again, while his volume of CBA or centre bounce attendances wasn't high, he was very effective when he went in. So along with Finlay McRae, Josh Dacos, maybe Bo McCreary, Lockie Sullivan, Ed Allen further down the track. And I do have a bold positional change for a player, maybe not this season, but in seasons to come. I think Isaac Quaynor could roll through the midfield. His story has more telling to do as his career progresses. Tom Mitchell was a great acquisition last year, and we probably solely got him for the yearning to improve in our contested possession ball work. However, when you do take a step back and look in retrospect at the stats that we accrued for contested possessions over the last 2 years, we only increased by 1 position as far as league ranking for contested possessions. So that suggests while Tom Mitchell is an elite contested ball player, we're going to need increments of improvements from all our midfielders. Those little 10 to 15% increments of improvements for each of those players will see Collingwood get closer and closer to the top 8 for contested possessions. And I think if I had to put a number on it, I think we need to see Collingwood around the 6 to 8 mark for contested possessions this year to really solidify our opportunity to go back to back and subsequently have a crack at forming a dynasty over the next few years. If you're looking to catch up on how Collingwood's preseason went, I'll share a couple videos going into round 1 against GWS this week. See you guys soon.